that does really well playing around pressure points and snowballing off early advantages. But in their last series against BLG, they did show they could like slow it down, play with the Caitlyn, and play more for these late game team fights.
We'll see if they're going to slow it down here as we head on to Summoner's Rift for game number 1 of the day. It's OMG up against DMO, and we've got the classic Xiaowei pick here of the Cassiopeia. It's something we've seen a lot less of recently in the LPL, but Xiaowei, he's always been a player that wants his comfort picks. He's always been a stylistic individual player.
Yeah, and ooh, we already see some early aggression with this Yuumi pick, but isn't able to find anything onto Curse.
Yeah, the slow not quite landing onto Curse there. And in the meantime, you can see the bottom lane from OMG, SMLZ and Cold moving on in to get a deep ward in the DMO jungle. Xiaopeng stepping on forward, looking for the slow onto Curse, won't quite find it.
This could be really good if DMO can end up cutting the map and setting this Irelia behind, not allowing her to play aggressively. Irelia is a champion that, to get ahead in lane, you really need to be stacking up your passive, your Ionian Fervor, and getting the best of these traits.
You need to be able to be aggressive. And I mean, Irelia, it's classically, she's been that champion, similarly to things like the Jax, where you don't really want to do anything to start with until you get that Triforce, and then suddenly Triforce hits and you just explode in the top lane. But with the Blade of the Rune King changes, we could well see a very different style of Irelia coming through.
Yeah, we should expect her to be aggressive a bit earlier. Again, she does have a really good matchup into this Aatrox, but we did see DMO cut the map like we talked about, so we shouldn't expect any aggression coming out from this Irelia anytime soon.
It's going to shut down the win condition that's often been the leaning post here for OMG, of Hacker moving up to set Curse up in the top lane. And the question will be, where does Hacker go now? What is his next opportunity if he can't focus around Curse?
Yeah, I just want to see Hacker take it a bit slow in the early game. You can get a full clear off in the early levels and then make your way towards the top side. We do see Natural pushing the lane right now. If you can find a bounce back and set up a gank opportunity for Xiaopeng later in the game, maybe we can see a 2v2 skirmisher on that top side.
I'd love to see it, especially Natural in that top lane. He's such a proficient mechanical player. Xiaopeng, though, he's going for the dive already, getting straight onto the likes of Curse, gets the repel to dodge away from tower aggro, but actually has to flash away Curse with the 2v1.
Yeah, extremely aggressive coming out of Xiaopeng. We are not seeing this work out.
He took one too many tower shots right there. Xiaopeng running away, but Icon's on his way up. Sleepy Trouble Bubble is going to be available in a second. Icon, though, in the 2v1 right now. He's just 1v1ing Xiaowei. Conqueror going to be procced. Icon trying to dodge away for now. Hacker is on his way over. There's the cleanse immediately onto the Trouble Bubble. Xiaopeng looking for the repel over. Icon may have stepped too far here. He's going to be kept on bay as Xiaopeng now aggressed by Hacker. We said he couldn't be aggressive. We were so very wrong. Solo kill on the Sejuani. Natural slides away.
Yeah, this play coming out from DMO is just way too aggressive. Like we just stated, Aatrox was pushing the wave. He could get the bounce back, and Elise can make her way topside at a later time, and you should feel completely comfortable in this early game 2v2 as an Elise.
Yeah, it felt like Xiaowei had roamed up into River, started this 1v1 with Icon, and then was like, maybe I've stepped too far here. Kind of panicked, ran back into the jungle. Xiaopeng wanted to help his mid laner, but there was just nothing he could do.
Yeah. OMG feel really good right now. You are getting a very slow early game pace. Senna and Tahm Kench will just be able to farm up and scale as they like. Sejuani, of course, going to become a big force later in the game. Icon having a lot of freedom right now as he just got a good reset off of that skirmish in the top side.
Yeah, this is best case scenario. Like you say for SMLZ and Cold, they want to just farm up. They do want to just scale. You don't really want to be fighting if you can help it with the Senna Tahm Kench. You're just looking to get those souls onto Senna and look towards the later stages of the game. If the junglers are fighting in the top half of the map, SMLZ and Cold know that they're safe to just do exactly that.
One thing I want to take a look at is a byproduct of that top lane skirmish is the wave getting pushed back into Natural and him being able to freeze it close to his turret. We do see right now 31 CS to 13. Curse is going to have a really rough time in that top lane.
He really is. And we already mentioned it before. Natural, very proficient top laner, someone that knows how to abuse the 1v1 matchups. And in fact, I would say that's probably Natural's biggest strength is in the 1v1 situation. Often we'll see him going for split pushes. SMLZ so low there. Heal still held on to by Cold, though. not going to be forced that one out just yet, but I think they're both going to have to recall on this one.
The poke coming out of Yuumi and Misfortune is just so oppressive in this laning phase. Gala and Mark, not really known for their strong 2v2 laning prowess, really coming out well and using their champions to a strong degree here.
And you know your poke is insanely good. Oh, Hacker's top side. You know your poke is insanely good when you're pushing Senna, Tom, Kench out of lane. They have so much sustain. They have so much HP and effective HP to work with. The fact that you're able to push them says a lot about how strong this duo is.
Yeah, it really does. And this was the slower pace of game we did expect. Hacker is covering for his top laner. We do also see Xiaopeng naturally pathing towards his Krugs. So we could be set up here to see some early action in the top lane. It'll really come down to skill expression if Irelia could stack up her passive, hit that flawless duet, and get a nice pick on the natural.
Flash is going to be available for both top laners here, but neither of the junglers will have that available to themselves.
Natural playing very safe. He did hit his level 6 first, so he does have that World Ender ultimate coming through. Xiaopeng just kind of teasing his presence there. Once again, Natural going to be able to set up a freeze. It's going to be extremely hard for Curse to be able to play out this laning phase.
Yeah. Now, Curse has managed to reduce that CS deficit slightly, but you have to bear in mind there was a massive minion wave, and Natural will be able to soak the vast majority of that up, and he might be able to use it to freeze once again.
And DMO has always been a team, just kind of taking a few steps back, that were really known for a sword and shield sort of playstyle in 2019. They had Chung Hong up in the top lane. He was known for his Scion and Gala on this Kaisa. They played very slow, and they really started to struggle once teams figured this out, right? But when Natural got brought into the roster, it gave them kind of a new breath of life, right? Ooh, we do see some natural aggression out here.
Xiaopeng stepping on in. He wants to go for the chickens. Hacker smacks him with the flail. I think the chicken went the way of Hacker there. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But I think he did the second smite.
This is just very easy for Xiaopeng when you do have priority in the mid and bot lane. You can make these aggressive moves, which is what we want to see coming out of the Elise. The only lane you were able to play around on the side of OMG was that top lane, which did end up getting set behind very early.
Looks like Xiaopeng going to be starting off this dragon for himself. I don't think there's going to be any contention here. So I do just want to go back to the point you brought up there on kind of the history of OMG and how they've changed as a squad and as an organization.
You mean the history of DMO, which we were talking about with that sword and shield playstyle, but ooh, OMG contesting this dragon.
Hang on, Xiaopeng in trouble here. He's going to get slowed on down by the Glacial Augment. Flashes to safety. That only just come off cooldown, but the repel will not save him. And it's a kill going the way of SMLZ. And they get a blue buff just as a bonus on top of that one. DMO did get the Infernal Drake, though.
DMO were able to commit resources to that dragon because they did have priority in the mid and bot lane, but Xiaopeng did get extremely low from soloing that dragon. Did give OMG a good opportunity to engage and find that pick on the back end.
So great start to things for OMG, but DMO having that Infernal Drake will be a nice little lifeline for them moving on forwards. Bit of extra damage as we get towards the mid-game skirmishes. Next Drake will be the Ocean, which means our Soul will either be Cloud or the Mountain Drake this game. We'll have to wait and see. But as you rightly say, DMO historically very much a late-game focused composition, very much a team that likes to play these front-to-back teamfight styles.
When DMO brought Natural into the lineup, they did get very proficient at playing through flanks and side lane. He was really known for his Akali pick, and they found some magic when he joined. But this split, we aren't exactly seeing that. He's really been struggling to adapt to some of these meta picks, like the Aatrox, like things like the Mordekaiser, and we've just been seeing them fall behind and not be able to create opportunities.
See if they can find an opportunity here. Xiaowei going to be pushed back. Xiaopeng not going to answer in any way. He knows his mid laner was fine to just walk away from that one. But with the rotation up towards the mid lane, you can see Herald going to be taken away by the side of Hacker here. In the meantime, though, Gala gets some free hits onto that bottom lane tower.
This has been a trade we've seen a lot of teams be okay with one way or the other, where, okay, you take the Herald, you take the Dragon, but we're okay loading up plates, loading up CS advantage onto one of our stronger carries, and being strong in the next skirmish.
SMLZ and Cold going to arrive, though, so it does only get one plate for the side of DMO. So ultimately, if the Herald can be used effectively, that is a positive trade for OMG.
OMG did come out ahead. We did see, once again, Hacker being up towards that top side, kind of freeing up Curse a bit. Xiaopeng being able to steal that big Raptor.
He's going to be happy with that one. This time he's the one that gets it. This time the invade works out as Hacker moving towards the bottom side of the map. Where would you expect Hacker to be moving with the Rift Herald here? Do you think the bottom side is the play?
Hacker needs to help get gold into Curse. You didn't pick this Irelia for it to fall behind and be useless in side lane, be useless in a flanking situation. If you fall too far behind, you come in from the back line, Gala or Xiaowei are just going to be able to blow you up. So I want to see Hacker head towards the top side, get some plate gold into Curse, and set him up for success.
We'll see if Hacker does move on up to try and help Curse out. And you can see, you mentioned Curse, he is going for that Blade of the Rune King build that we mentioned earlier on. In case anyone missed the 10.5 notes, oh, Cold in trouble. Does shield away from the bullet time. They're going to be fine. I mean, it's center Tom Kench. You're pretty safe no matter what.
Just a bit of poke coming out from the side of DMO. And even though we do know OMG is a team that likes to set up for SMLZ, the way they get there is setting Curse ahead, which kind of frees him up to play on his island and be successful. Then we'll see Hacker tend towards the mid lane, get pressure with Icon, and then start playing towards SMLZ. You don't necessarily look towards the bot lane early. You're trying to facilitate the rest of the map while SMLZ just scales and farms up.
SMLZ is your late game insurance policy, right? It's expensive in the early game. You're going to lose a lot of pressure. You have to put your money down up front. But then later on, when you do need something to fall back on, he's going to step on up on this center. He'll be doing insane damage because of the souls and the way that they scale up. World Ender, though, comes out in the top lane for Natural, and immediately Curse dips out.
Yeah, Natural right there, just good game sense backing off from that. Did feel the damage. Sejuani showing on a ward. Going back to our point about SMLZ. SMLZ last year was on Suning. Suning were not a team known for playing around their team fights. They were really known for playing this 1-3-1 style. Angel really big on the Twisted Fate. You would have Weiwei on the Karthus. And SMLZ was more of a priority bot mid. You sit under your turret, you catch waves. Your jungle and soul laners look to make plays across the map. So if I'm SMLZ this year, I feel great. I have a front line. I have a support that likes to facilitate me. My jungle will gank.
You finally have an opportunity to show off a bit if you're SMLZ. You get to play some of the more interesting picks. And, I mean, granted, Senna probably not the best example of that. It's not the highest skill expression of any AD carry. But we have seen SMLZ bringing out pocket picks like the Caitlyn as well. We've seen him on these meta AD carries in that of the Aphelios as well. And we've really seen him stepping up in terms of his impact in a game.
DMO right now setting up for this Ocean Drake. They did already get push on mid lane and were able to set up this vision, but it does look like OMG are going to contest. The big thing we want to look for here is where does Hacker go with that engage? Can he get onto the backline of DMO, or can Mark successfully peel off with that Yuumi ultimate?
We'll have to see what Mark will be able to do during these team fights. Yuumi, one of those champions that can be kind of hot and cold, you know. Some Yuumis you see and they'll just take over a game. It seems like nobody can kill whoever they're jumping onto. But other games really doesn't feel like an impactful pick. I want Mark to really show his stuff here during this one. Icon just going to narrowly miss the Sleepy Trouble Bubble here. Herald's going to go in, but I don't think anyone's going to get the gold from that one. Oh, it did. I think Hacker grabbed it.
He was able to pick up the gold for that Rift Herald. Quite strange they decided to use it around mid lane, but don't look for a Dragon Star to abuse that tempo advantage.
Oh no, Hacker with the blind ultimate, but the repel dodges it. Still get the kill onto Xiaopeng. They're not going to be too worried about that one. The stun on Icon just going to be deterring the play from Xiaowei now.
OMG coming up huge with numbers advantage in that situation. They should be able to start up the Ocean Drake relatively free. And DMO should just start looking towards the top side, setting up vision for that next Rift Herald.
Yeah, Hacker already going to start this Dragon off. You mentioned the next Herald. It'll be up in a couple of minutes' time. And OMG so far very much the ones in control of the tempo of this game. They're setting the pace. They're the ones choosing which objectives they want to go for now. One Dragon apiece, but they've got about 1,500 gold lead as well.
OMG's key word for me this year is stability. Last year, we saw them really struggling with junglers and supports. We saw World 6, Penguin, Ihan, Shelly, Hootie. You just didn't have a lot of room to build a playstyle, find synergy. But with them settling on this 5-man squad, We see them each game slowly getting better, slowly playing the map better. Synergies built in mid, synergies built in bottom, just having a lot of options how to play out the game.
And it's interesting as well because you mentioned their style. When we were coming into the season, it was very much the story of, you know, Icon's the lead singer and you got the backup dancers and all of that shenanigans with HAKR and SMLZ, but it doesn't feel as much that way anymore to me. It doesn't feel like Icon is the sole focus of this squad. You've got Curse that, as you mentioned, can carry on these picks like the Aurelia. And SMLZ later on in the game, he's going to be much more of the focus for the squad. So it's exciting to see a version of OMG that has a little bit more in their arsenal.
The way I would describe Icon on this iteration of OMG is he's really the wild card. HAKR is setting up his side lanes for success, and Icon just has a lot of breathing room with how he wants to play and kind of what champions and what styles he's able to pick up.
So far for me, it's very much been HAKR the one putting his foot on the accelerator pedal, though. Even on this Sejuani pick, you know, it's not something you pick up to fight in the jungle quite like something like the Lee Sin or the Elise, but definitely something that you can impact if you have strong laners, and that's exactly what OMG have drafted. And now they're going to be looking for a tower in the top lane. They're racing for the first tower of the game, though. I think they might just win it out with the Herald here. Demolish will come into play. Gala trying to get it first, and he will be able to do it by an absolute hair there.
We do see both teams just electing to trade side. I am kind of disappointed on DMO on this one. OMG going to be able to get a second charge off.
This is not a good trade for DMO. Second charge onto the tier 2. Still no answer from DMO. The Herald's going to get a third charge onto this inhibitor.
3 minutes ago, we said we wanted to see DMO look towards the top side since they gave up Drake with Xiaopeng getting set up. You have the opportunity to set up Vision first. You choose not to. They have the opportunity to bring their bot lane top first. They have priority in the bot lane. I don't know what DMO is doing right now.
That is not the way you want a trade to go this early on into the game. And OMG, they're more than happy to take that free chunk of gold, drop the Herald, and just waltz away with a couple of towers, almost 3 for themselves. They'll take that trade any day of the week. And now, Dragon will be spawning in another 2 minutes. And expect OMG to start to focus on towards that bottom side of the map once again. Trouble Bubble, though, in the mid lane onto Zhao Wei. Oh, nice dodge on the ultimate from Icon here, though. He's got a lot of healing from his team.
Zhao Wei has been one of these really aggressive laners. We've seen this split. We did see the clip at the beginning of the game with him almost solo killing Yuki. Both teams hovering towards the top side stops that solo aggression coming out, and we do go back more into a lull.
Yeah, but we do see Curse in the bottom lane. He's going to be backed up by HAKR just out of vision, looking to try and bait a fight perhaps with Natural as he pushes damage onto this tower. HAKR, I love this, just waiting just out of vision. Natural knows something's up though. He's not going to come contest.
And this is just the strength of this duo, Sejuani plus a melee champion, Irelia being the one this game. You just have to stand this far back in the brush, lose tower, lose the minions.
Look, and Curse is finally getting revenge for all of the minions that he's lost during the laning phase. Just allows half of a wave to die to the tower there. I love it. Oh, bullet time onto SMLZ. It's going to be the final chapter as well. Gets the root down onto Cold, but with the grey health, he's able to keep himself alive. The thick skin shield, such an effective tool.
DMO using this timing is really good because now that they've unlocked both sides of the map, we should expect to see Curse and HAKR being able to roam towards the mid lane together, giving OMG pressure to take this mid turret. So DMO really has to abuse these openings that they find.
Yeah, this is going to be... The longer this goes on now, the more difficult Curse will be to deal with because he's got that Blade of the Rune King that we mentioned earlier. It looks like he's going for a Wit's End second. Aurelia very quickly gets out of control once he gets some of these key items.
Yeah, the Wit's End does kind of tell me that he is going to look to play more of this flanking style. He is going to be dealing with things like the Cassiopeia, the Elise. We could expect to see him, okay, so he's just buying the Negatron Cloak for a bit of strength from that Elise. We still do expect to see him going towards that Triforce.
Yep, so going for that standard Aurelia power spike that I mentioned earlier on in the game. Gala, in the meantime, does get some time on this tier 1 up in the top lane. That's going to even things up slightly in towers. Look at the damage out of Icon already. Zoe is just so damn strong on this patch.
And Icon gets to be absolutely fearless because of this Tahm Kench ultimate always being threatened by Cold.
Yeah, Cold moves up with the Abyssal Voyage. Can't quite extend the fight just yet. HAKR finds his opportunity. Gets revenge for the stolen chickens earlier on in the game. Now Xiaowei taking a good chunk of damage from SMLZ. The rest of the squad moving on up. Trouble Bubble lands. The rest of the team will be near Xiaowei, though, keeping him alive. Gala! There is huge amounts of poke damage coming out from OMG.
OMG just having full control over the map. We saw they did take both side lane turrets. They do have vision in both sides of the river. They're going to be able to take this Drake relatively uncontested. Yep, Natural backing off, doesn't want anything to do with it.
This game is all in the pocket of OMG so far. They're the ones in control. They're the ones deciding where to fight and when to fight. DMO so far, they're dancing to the tune that OMG sings.
DMO, as the longer this game goes on, are going to find it harder and harder to find opportunities to fight OMG's composition. We did say OMG really wants to, DMO, I'm sorry, wants to kite back. They have the Cassiopeia, they have the Yuumi ultimate setting up space for the Misfortune, but you're kiting back against a Sejuani.
It's always going to be difficult. I find it hilarious at Gala. Pretty much every single time has used his bullet time just to clear a wave at this point. He knows that the plan right now for DMO is not fighting, so that cooldown way less valuable than you typically think in a team fight.
DMO just trying to create some time to get items onto this Cassiopeia. We do know Cassiopeia is a very strong late game threat. Another thing we have to notice is DMO has a lot of DPS. They can rush a Baron. They could do a sneaky dragon and kind of get on top of an exchange if they do get vision set first.
Yeah, especially with this Aurelia in the top side as well. Curse has the Blade of the Rune King. It's been increased how much % damage that's going to do if you are a melee champion. Up to 12% max HP. Obviously, that will be diminished against the likes of Baron. You've still got armor and whatnot that come into play, but a lot of extra damage onto that objective.
OMG just doing as we talked about, playing through side lanes and then bringing the pressure mid until another objective is up. They can take this slow. If you're DMO, you always feel pressure of a side lane fight with that Abyssal Voyage coming out of Tahm Kench. You really can't contest Curse in a side lane.
You see DMO setting up complete control of this Baron area now. Actually force out a Scryer's Orb from the side of OMG. Currently, they're the ones just fighting for mid priority, though. That's a Trouble Bubble going down. Oh, the paddle style doesn't quite hit his mark.
Yeah, Icon being really on point with a lot of these bubbles. Gala once again using that ultimate.
Very nice cleanse from Gala, but in goes the Vanguard's Edge. Xiaopeng has to go into the repel, but he's going to be finished off very shortly as Curse does so much in the back line. And that's the power of the Aurelia we were just talking about.
And we just saw the power of this composition. Sejuani and Irelia dive in. SMLZ using that ultimate to support them. They are all relatively tanky. You have lots of sustain coming out, and DMO can do nothing.
And it's such a quick team fight as well. They have so much burst damage. They're not looking for a sustained battle where something like a Cassiopeia can succeed. They just want to go in and out.
And we've seen DMO react poorly constantly throughout this game. Always at the wrong place at the wrong time, giving up the Drakes, giving up the Rift Heralds, and now losing this Baron off of Xiaowei going and pushing out that side lane.
You got to feel bad for Xiaopeng as well. He's 0-4 so far this game. 4 of the 5 kills from OMG have been onto this Elise. That pick that was a very high priority in DMO's draft is not working out.
And we do see here OMG able to threaten this dive with numbers advantage. Irelia jumping into the backline with Sejuani. We do have Icon following up with his burst damage and great Senna ultimate shielding all of his team and them getting out relatively unscathed.
Yeah, and you can see really great from Curse weaving his blade surges in between auto attacks, making sure he's keeping his passive stacked and doing maximum damage possible. He has now finished a Black Cleaver as well.
Yeah, you feel like you're in a really good spot right now for your OMG. You have Baron, you're at your power spike with this Irelia, with Black Cleaver and Blade of the Rune King. It is kind of strange seeing Black Cleaver come out on Irelia. It isn't too easy to get those cleaver stacks. She does synergize much well with the Triforce, where she does take advantage of all of those stats. But OMG are so far ahead, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, they can build what they want at this point. 5-0 in terms of kills, but they're 5,000 gold up. They've already got 2 Drakes, and the third one might just be theirs in 55 seconds as well. Icon, in the meantime, putting pressure up towards this top side. There's a whole squad of DMO rotating up, though.
Icon in a very dangerous position, but we talked about this Abyssal Voyage. OMG always nearby, always able to react to a play that DMO makes.
Straight onto Xiaowei with the Glacial Prison right there. Good damage out. Trouble Bubble down onto Xiaopang. That'll be his 5th death of the game as well. Hacker took the one to finish it off as Curse dives underneath the tower. Natural cannot sustain through the damage, and Curse walks away from the tower as well. Back onto Xiaowei. There's a stun, and Mark has no one to sit on.
DMO got absolutely deleted. The damage coming out from OMG right now is insane. 8k gold damage. They're just going to be able to push the base and look for the Nexus.
What happened to this being a slow series? What happened to this being a slow game? OMG accelerate at the speed of light. They just needed the one power spike from Aurelia, I guess, and now they close the game.
Yeah, OMG playing a really clean game. 25-minute end time. Feels really bad for my predictions, but
Yeah.
OMG showing up big.
OMG making their mark in game number 1.